Have you ever stood in front of your mirror, shocked at how much older and more exhausted you look, despite getting that new bob everyone said would be perfect for you, wondering why you spent good money to look worse than before? And here's the devastating truth nobody tells you. It's not your face that's aging faster. It's not your skin that's suddenly sagging. It's not your features that have changed overnight. And it's definitely not you imagining things. It's that wrong bob haircut, literally dragging your entire face downward, making you look years older when you thought you were doing everything right. And today I'm exposing the 5 bob styles that are aging you and what to get instead. I know that sinking feeling all too well. You walk out of the salon with hope and excitement, only to realize hours later that something is terribly wrong. Your face looks heavier, your jowls seem more pronounced, and somehow you look more tired than you did with your old hairstyle. It's not in your head, and you're not being too critical. The truth is, not all bob haircuts are created equal, especially after 60. In fact, certain bob styles that look amazing on younger women become absolute face draggers on mature faces. They work against your bone structure, emphasize sagging, create shadows in all the wrong places, and can literally add a decade to your appearance. But here's the good news. Once you know which bobs to avoid, and why they're aging you, you can make informed decisions that protect you from ever experiencing this heartbreak again. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on the 5 most popular bob styles that are secretly sabotaging women over 60. I'll show you exactly what makes these cuts so devastating, the specific visual tricks they play that age your face, and most importantly, what to ask for instead, so you get a bob that lifts, sculpts, and takes years off rather than adding them on. If you're ready to stop wasting money on haircuts that betray you and start getting bobs that actually deliver on their promises, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because what I'm about to reveal will change how you talk to your stylist forever. Let's dive in. Haircut 1. The blunt bottom bob, the face dragger. Let's start with the biggest culprit, the bob that's aging more women over 60 than any other style, the blunt bottom bob. And I call it the face dragger for a very specific reason. You know this cut. It's that perfectly straight, one-length bob that hits somewhere between your chin and shoulders with a razor-sharp hemline that doesn't move, doesn't flow, just sits there like a horizontal line across your face. Here's why this is absolutely devastating for mature faces. That blunt, heavy bottom edge creates what designers call a visual weight line. Your eye naturally follows strong lines, and when you have a thick, blunt edge cutting straight across, every single person who looks at you follows that line downward. It's like an arrow pointing down to your jowls, your neck, everything you're trying to minimize. But it gets worse. That weight at the bottom literally pulls your features down through visual perception. When all the density and thickness sits at the hemline with nothing to break it up, it creates a dragging effect that makes your cheeks look heavier, your jawline less defined, and your whole face appears to be sliding downward. It's the opposite of a facelift. It's a visual face drop. The blunt bob also creates harsh shadows under your jawline. Because there's no movement, no texture, no graduation to soften the edge, light hits that blunt line and creates a shadow that emphasizes any sagging or heaviness. It's like installing unflattering lighting around your face that follows you everywhere you go. I see women come in with this cut all the time, devastated because their stylist told them it would be sleek and sophisticated. And yes, on a 5-year-old with tight skin and no jowls, it can look amazing. But on mature skin that's lost elasticity, it's a disaster. The sleekness becomes severity, and the sophistication becomes aging. Here's what makes this even more heartbreaking. This cut is often recommended as easy to maintain. Stylists push it because it's simple to cut and doesn't require much styling expertise. But easy for the stylist doesn't mean flattering for you. In fact, the easier a bob is to cut, the less customized it is to your specific face. And that's exactly the problem. The styling is equally problematic. To make a blunt bob look good, you need to blow it out perfectly smooth and straight. Any wave, any texture, any natural movement makes it look unkempt, because the whole point of the cut is that sharp, clean line. So you're locked into constant straightening, constant smoothing, fighting against your natural texture just to make an unflattering cut look intentional. Who suffers most from this cut? Women with round or square faces see their faces look wider and heavier. Women with any jowl development watch those jowls become the focal point. Women with naturally wavy or curly hair fight a daily battle they can never win. And women who thought going shorter would make them look fresher end up looking older and more severe. What to get instead? Ask for a soft graduated bob with internal layering. This means the bottom edge is softly textured, not blunt, with subtle graduation that creates movement instead of weight. The internal layers remove the heaviness while keeping the length, giving you lift instead of drag. It's the difference between a cement block and a feather. Same general shape, completely different effect on your face. Haircut 2, the heavy side part bob, the asymmetrical disaster. Next up is a cut that seems like it should work but becomes an absolute nightmare. The heavy side part bob, or what I call the asymmetrical disaster. This is when you have a deep side part with all that heavy hair swept to one side, creating a dramatic diagonal line and leaving the other side sparse and flat. This cut is particularly insidious because it tricks you at first. In the salon chair, with the stylist holding it just right, it can look modern and interesting, but the moment you try to recreate it at home, reality hits. That heavy side constantly falls forward, covering half your face, while the lighter side lies flat against your head, creating the most unflattering imbalance imaginable. Here's the aging catastrophe this creates. All that weight on one side literally pulls that side of your face down visually. Your eye follows that heavy mass of hair downward, dragging your cheekbone, your jawline, everything with it. Meanwhile, the sparse side exposes every thin spot, every area where your hair has lost density, making you look older on that side while looking weighted down on the other. You can't win. The deep side part itself is problematic for mature hair. As we age, our hair naturally thins, especially at the part line. A deep side part exposes a wider section of scalp, showing thinning more obviously than a center or subtle side part would. You're literally highlighting the one thing you want to hide: hair loss and scalp visibility. But here's where this cut becomes truly devastating. It creates facial asymmetry that draws attention to any natural asymmetry you already have. Everyone's face is slightly asymmetrical, but good haircuts balance this out. Bad haircuts, like this heavy side part bob, exaggerate it. Suddenly one eye looks smaller, one cheekbone looks flatter, one side of your jaw looks heavier. You become hyper-aware of imperfections you never noticed before. The maintenance is a nightmare. To keep this cut looking intentional rather than lopsided, you need to style it perfectly every single day. That heavy side needs constant volume at the root, or it pancakes against your head. You're fighting gravity, fighting your natural part, fighting your hair's desire to fall evenly. It's exhausting, and most days, you lose the battle. I've had clients tell me they started wearing headbands and clips constantly, just to keep that heavy side out of their face. Others said they found themselves always tucking it behind their ear, which defeats the entire purpose of the cut. One woman told me she started avoiding the side with less hair in photos because she was so self-conscious about the thinning it exposed. Who gets hurt most by this cut? Women with fine or thinning hair find the sparse side humiliating. Women with round faces discover the heavy side makes them look wider and heavier. Women who want low-maintenance hair find themselves imprisoned by constant styling. And women who thought asymmetry would make them look modern end up looking unbalanced and older. The psychological impact is real too. When one side of your hair is constantly in your face, you develop a habit of looking at the world from behind a curtain. You become someone who hides rather than someone who shines. Your posture changes, your confidence shrinks, and you start to make yourself smaller in every way. What to get instead? Ask for a balanced, graduated bob with a soft side part. This means the part is subtle, only slightly off-center, so you get dimension without exposure. The graduation ensures both sides have movement and lift, creating balance rather than weight. You get sophistication without the struggle, modernity without the disaster. Haircut 3. The chin-length pageboy bob, the jaw emphasizer. Now, let's talk about a cut that seems safe and classic, but is actually one of the most aging styles you can wear after 60. The chin-length pageboy bob, which I call the jaw emphasizer, and not in a good way. This is that rounded, turned-under bob that hits right at your chin, curving inward all the way around like a helmet. This cut is particularly popular with older women because it feels familiar and safe. Many wore similar styles in their younger years, and there's comfort in returning to what we knew. But here's the brutal truth. What worked at 30 fails catastrophically at 60 because our faces have changed completely. The fundamental problem is the length. Hitting right at your chin draws every eye directly to your jawline, which for most women over 60 is exactly where we're dealing with sagging, jowls, and loss of definition. It's like putting a frame around a picture you don't want people to look at. That hemline becomes a spotlight on the very area you want to minimize. But the turned under curve makes everything worse. When the ends curve inward toward your face, they create a visual that pushes everything inward and downward. Instead of lifting and opening your features, this cut closes them in, making your face look narrower, longer, and heavier. It's the opposite of what mature faces need. The pageboy also creates what I call the mushroom effect. All the volume sits at the bottom, at chin level, while the top remains relatively flat. This bottom-heavy proportion is incredibly aging because youthful hair has volume at the crown and gradually tapers. When you flip that equation, putting all the fullness at the bottom, you create a shape that drags everything down visually. Here's another devastating issue. The curve inward creates shadows. Light can't penetrate that inward-facing hair. So instead of reflecting light around your face, which makes you look radiant and younger, it absorbs light, creating darkness around your jawline and neck. You end up looking shadowed and dull, even in bright lighting. The styling requirements keep you trapped in outdated techniques. To maintain that perfect undercurve, you need to use a round brush and blow dryer, rolling the ends under with tension, or use hot rollers set in a specific direction. It's time-consuming, and if you don't do it, the cut looks sloppy and shapeless. You become a slave to your blow dryer. I've watched women struggle with this cut for years, coming in every 6 weeks for the same trim, maintaining a style that's aging them because they don't know what else to do. They think it's appropriate for their age, not realizing that age-appropriate has been weaponized to mean boring and outdated. The pageboy also dates you instantly. It screams a specific era, usually the 1960 seconds, or 1980 seconds, depending on the exact variation. And when your hair is stuck in a different decade, you look stuck too. It tells the world you stopped evolving, stopped trying, stopped caring about being current. Who suffers most from this cut? Women with round or square faces find their faces look wider and heavier because the inward curve adds width at exactly the wrong place. Women with jowls or a softening jawline discover those issues become the focal point. Women with fine hair find it looks limp and lifeless despite the curl because all the volume is in the wrong place. The emotional toll is significant. When you look in the mirror and see your mother or grandmother staring back, not because you're aging, but because you're wearing their hairstyle, it's demoralizing. You start to feel old, not because you are, but because your hair makes you look and feel like you belong to a different generation. What to get instead? Ask for an above-the-chin graduated bob with outward texture. This means the length sits above your jawline, not at it, removing the focus from that area. The graduation creates lift instead of weight, and the outward texture pieces that flip away from your face instead of under, opens your features, reflects light, and creates a lifting effect that the pageboy could never achieve. It's modern, flattering, and actually makes you look younger instead of older. So there you have it, 3 seemingly innocent bob haircuts that are secretly sabotaging your appearance, adding years instead of subtracting them, and creating problems that no amount of makeup or skincare can fix. The blunt bottom bob dragging your face down with visual weight, the heavy side part bob creating unflattering asymmetry and exposing thinning, and the chin-length pageboy bob, emphasizing everything you want to minimize. But here's what I really need you to understand. This isn't about vanity. This is about being seen as the vibrant, relevant, valuable person you are. When your haircut is aging you, people make assumptions. They underestimate you, overlook you, dismiss you, not because of who you are, but because of what your hair is telling them about you. Every time you sit in a salon chair, you're making a decision that will affect how you're perceived and how you feel about yourself for the next 6 to 8 weeks. That's a significant portion of your life. Choosing the wrong bob doesn't just mean a bad hair day. It means weeks or months of feeling less confident, less attractive, less like yourself. The tragedy is that most women don't know these cuts are the problem. They think their face is the issue, that aging is catching up, that nothing can help them look good anymore. So they settle for these aging cuts because at least they're easy or safe or appropriate. But safe and easy don't make you feel beautiful. They make you invisible. I want you to walk into your next salon appointment armed with knowledge. I want you to recognize these red flags and speak up before the scissors come out. You have the right to say no. You have the right to question your stylist's suggestions. You have the right to demand a cut that makes you look as amazing as you deserve to look. Remember, a good stylist wants you to love your hair and feel confident. A great stylist understands that different cuts work for different ages and will customize recommendations for your specific face, hair texture, and lifestyle. If your stylist is pushing one of these 3 cuts, especially after you've expressed concerns, it's time to find a new stylist who puts your needs first. Your hair is one of the most powerful tools you have for controlling how the world sees you. Use it wisely. Protect yourself from cuts that age you. Demand styles that lift, flatter, and celebrate who you are right now, not who you were 30 years ago. If this video just saved you from a hair disaster, you need to watch what's coming next. Click the video on your screen right now, where I reveal the 2 remaining bob styles to avoid after 60, plus the exact bob cuts you should be getting for a lifted, youthful look that makes people do a double take. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. And listen, if you're serious about having amazing hair after 60, hit that subscribe button and smash the notification bell, because next week I'm exposing the 5 things your hairstylist will never tell you, but absolutely should. Information that could transform every salon visit for the rest of your life. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you been wearing one of these face-dragging bobs? Don't be embarrassed, you didn't know. But now that you do, what are you going to do about it? And if you have a friend who's stuck in one of these aging cuts, share this video with her. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is help each other see what we can't see ourselves. Remember, gorgeous, you're not too old to have incredible hair. You're exactly the right age to stop accepting anything less than fabulous. I'll see you in the next video where we continue fighting against boring, outdated hair together.